Kathleen, can you ask me in front of all of these people, all of these witnesses, can you please ask me, am I going to play Obi-Wan Kenobi again?
Ewan?
Yes?
Are you going to play Obi-Wan Kenobi again?
Yes.
Welcome to the Wampa's Lair podcast. Deep in the bowels of the frozen ice caverns of Hoth, our hosts, Carl Leclerc, Jason Hunt, and Katie Horn, discuss all things Star Wars. So join the conversation and hang out here in the Wampa's Lair.
Splendid thing, love. Lift us up where we belong. All you need is love.
Please don't start that again.
All you need is love.
A girl has got to eat.
All you need is love.
She'll end up on the street.
All you need is love.
Love is just a game.
I was made for loving you, baby. You were made for loving me.
The only way of loving me, baby, is to pay a lovely fee.
How do I come into this? Thank you, everyone, so much for listening to this episode of the Wampa's Lair podcast. This is episode number 346, D23 Extravaganza. I'm, as always, one of your hosts, Jason Hunt, and with me, the Mandalorian and Rise of Skywalker to my Kenobi, we have Carl Leclerc and Katie Horn.
I know what I am. I'm the Rise of Skywalker.
That is for sure.
I guess I'll be the Mandalorian, and I just, I really want Ewan McGregor to sing in Kenobi like he did in Moulin Rouge. What can I say?
Please. Oh, my gosh. I didn't know that Carl was going to play that song, but as soon as it started up, like, my heart exploded.
I was hoping one of you would get excited about it.
Oh, my God. It's been so long since I watched this movie, and now I want to go watch it right now.
It's so good.
I'm just sitting there going, how do I come into this?
Well, and then that's the thing. Her name is Satine.
Ooh. Who's this for? Oh, okay.
No, like, you guys, her name is Satine.
It is. In Moulin Rouge. Ewan McGregor's partner is named Satine. I think Moulin Rouge is the prequel to Kenobi.
Yeah, no, I just straight up think it's an episode of the Clone Wars. Like, it's just straight up 100%.
Right? It would not surprise me if they actually named Satine after Moulin Rouge,
Right.
Yeah, that would not surprise me at all. Oh my gosh. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi.
There's been a few things that were dropped this weekend at the D23 Expo.
Really?
I don't know.
I didn't hear about it.
Yeah, I've been under a rock and have not touched a Twitter. I don't know what that is.
Yeah. I think you'd literally have to be completely unplugged to not know what was going on this weekend.
Oh my gosh.
So many things, right? We've got the Mandalorian trailer. We got the release date of Clone Wars. We got the announcement of Kenobi. And we, of course, got some Rise of Skywalker footage, plus that new poster. And as of right now, we're recording this on Sunday evening, so we have to wait till tomorrow for that sizzle reel that's supposed to drop after Good Morning America in the morning. So unfortunately, we can't talk specifics. Obviously, we've all heard about some of the specifics from people that were there. But there's just so much to talk about, and there's a lot of Star Wars going on right now. The end of this year, basically October through really February, it's going to be like nonstop Star Wars. How do you guys feel about it?
I'm weak.
I'm only human.
It's gonna be a lot, but I'm excited. I don't know. I'm gonna have to take it one day at a time, just to not drown. But I'm okay with that right now. I've made my bed. I'll sleep in it when it comes to Star Wars. Apparently.
I feel like that one, joke from The Simpsons. Stop! He's already dead.
So much, but I'm so excited. Resistance in October, Mandalorian in November. We got Rise of Skywalker in December, Clone Wars in February.
Oh God.
Oh,
That's
and
the
then we
thing.
got Cassian Andor and Obi-Wan Kenobi coming down the pipe. Dear Lord.
The untitled Cassian Andor project. I'm like,
Yes.
you guys, if you hide the name of this thing only to call it Cassian, we're gonna have words, okay?
Yeah, that'll be kind of dumb.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, that's what they did with Solo. They're like, can't tell you the name.
Right.
It's Solo.
It's
That's
Solo.
it.
Right. Yeah.
That's true, they did. Oh, man.
So, we're not getting into any of the matchup stuff, unfortunately, or we're going to save some. We've gotten some great new iTunes reviews. So, again, just a quick thank you to those of you who've written them. We are going to get to those next week with our next episode. But we just kind of wanted to, we are not normally a news podcast, but there were a lot of big things this weekend, and we'd be remiss to not talk about them.
Yes.
But just for fun, I threw up a poll on Twitter a few hours ago. So granted, it's only a few hours old, but asking folks just what they were most excited about so far from what we got at D23. Now, obviously, on Twitter polls, you can only put 4 things. So I did not put in Cassian, for instance, or Resistance, which kind of foolish to not put in Resistance, although it didn't get touched at D23, so I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
But so I put it Mandalorian, Kenobi, Clone Wars, Rise of Skywalker. As it sits right now, Kenobi's winning with 40%, Rise of Skywalker with 31, Mandalorian with 20, and then Clone Wars with 9. Which I think, and again, this is people that respond to our Twitter. This could be totally different on a different podcast feed or on a different, if StarWars.com did it, who knows what the reactions would be. But that's kind of where it stands right now for us. But
and I think the reason why Clone Wars is just so quiet is because we've known it's coming, and all we got was the release date, essentially. So,
and that, we got that really cool still picture of Ahsoka and Maul facing down one another.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah,
Guys, that's still. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. We'll get there. Okay. I told you I can't breathe. I'm weak.
So I got to say, the thing I am honestly most excited for, just in general, coming down the pipe, is The Mandalorian. I'm, as of right now, where it stands, now granted, maybe that sizzle reel will change everything tomorrow morning. But
it's entirely possible.
We were talking about this a little bit before we recorded, but, for me personally, the, episode 9, it's a saga film. So for me, there's a lot at stake with it in a way that there just isn't with any of these other projects. So, for instance, if Mandalorian comes out and I don't like it, fine. I'm easily just walking away with it. I've done that with lots of the new Star Wars novels, the comics. I've started things where I'm like, this isn't really for me, and just kind of walk away from it. Yeah. But, I think for a lot of fans, and I'm obviously one of them, the saga films just mean something different. So I have this weird nervousness about Rise of Skywalker. I'm excited for sure, but I'm also really nervous. But Mandalorian, I'm just excited, because for me there's no stakes, and I think this is also why it's really exciting. And we were talking about this off air, but it's really exciting time for Star Wars as Rise of Skywalker comes to an end later this year and the saga is done until, let's be real, Disney owns it. I'm sure they'll revisit it in 5 years. But I really want to be wrong about that, but I don't know. But be that as it may, as the saga kind of lays to rest or lays dormant for a long time, it just opens the, like you put it, Katie, just the sky's the limit, with what we can do storytelling wise and the kinds of stories we're going to tell. And I love that even just this D23 weekend really just gave us a nice smattering of the old and the new, right? Like Kenobi. Right. Kenobi is a series that fans have been, pining after since Disney took over back in 2015 or 2012, excuse me. But you also have, so many Star Wars fans are just like, I want something new. Give me something new. So boom, you've got something like Mandalorian. So I just think it's a very exciting time because we're going to get to explore characters that we've known and loved for 40 years. And we're going to get to meet brand new characters and love and grow with them too. And I think It's so exciting that we're going to get kind of this both and I think that's a really smart way to go.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's gotten me excited. All of it. I mean, I'm just excited that Ewan's coming back as Obi-Wan. About the series in particular, I can't say anything because I don't know anything except that it's happening they're filming it next year. Woo!
There's
cool.
nothing to know.
There's nothing to know.
It's happening.
Great, it's happening.
Yeah.
Talk to me in a year when you can actually show me something. Thanks. Bye. I'm going to watch Mandalorian and Rise of Skywalker now. Thanks. Love you, Ewan. Come and watch Mandalorian with me.
You think they're gonna? You think they're gonna try to make him look older, like grizzle him on up, or do you think he's like perfectly seasoned?
I don't know if I did not hear this from any of the footage I watched, but apparently it's going to take place 8 years after Revenge of the Sith. I don't know where that. Oh, that's the only number I've seen floating around, but I've seen it floating around a lot. Okay. Watching the little footage that I watched, I didn't hear them explicitly say that. I mean, Kathleen Kennedy did say the scripts are all written, so we know the story's been written. They're going to start filming next year. So Ewan's good to go. So if it's 8 years out, I mean, they don't really have to do that much, really. That's
true.
For Ewan's luck.
Yeah, exactly.
Have him grow the beard back out. Right. Maybe,
which he kind of had at D23.
Yeah, right. Yeah, weather his face back up a little bit to be a little, Tatooine sun-kissed, and you're good to go. You don't have to do much to Ewan McGregor.
Right.
I mean, the man has barely aged since Revenge of the Sith.
I mean, okay, but that's the thing, is that he's supposed to turn from Ewan McGregor in Revenge of the Sith to Alec Guinness, in the course of 20 years. So he has to, if we're 8 years out, he should be kind of that middle point, right?
A little bit.
He should probably be like kind of more beat up, I think, than Ewan McGregor. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would love to see a little 8-year-old Luke Skywalker, though. Please cast some little, little toe-headed moppet. Just do, please.
All you got to do is get Ewan McGregor out there, when he rolls out of bed before, he gets ready for, to go out in public, just get Ewan McGregor, after he just woke up and he should be fine, right? Right? That's how this works. No.
Anyway. Oh my gosh. I want him to look just like Luke in Last Jedi, where it's just, he's just wearing sweatpants all day. Does not.
On Tatooine?
Yeah. So he doesn't get a sunburn.
Well, that's true.
Oh my gosh. And he's just, just drinking blue milkshakes. And he's basically the Big Lebowski, is what he.
Well, since we're on Kenobi, let's hop into that. And a lot of people are excited. And again, deep dive. We can only deep dive so deep. We got to stay in the shallow end because we don't have a lot.
The pool's pretty shallow.
But I just this time, I want to quick give a little props to our friend Sartaj Singh, who's been on the show. I mean, it was a while ago, but Sartaj is always just sharing brilliant ideas on his Twitter. And he made a comment to us, and essentially where Sartaj said, he's really excited for Kenobi because he just wants to see more of this character's history explored. He's a huge Kenobi fan. My buddy Greg is a huge Obi-Wan Kenobi fan, and I know he's just really excited to see more of his story explored. And I appreciate Sartaj kind of just pointing that out, that for a lot of fans, they just they can't get enough of his stories, and there's still this 20-year breadth of his life we don't know anything about. Now, I don't know how much we're going to be able to tell, but I really like this notion, though, that these stories can make us love these characters even more. I mean, I say for myself, right, the movie Solo made me fall in love with Han in a way I didn't think was possible, right? Like, I loved that movie. And obviously, right, it didn't work for a lot of fans. That's totally fine. But Solo did something for Han's character. I mean, Jason, you can attest to this, that, really made you care so much more about him. And, with Clone Wars, the getting that story of Satine and Obi-Wan really did something for his character. I know we talked about this on our last episode. That's one of my favorite things that surprised me that they gave us storytelling-wise in Star Wars that I've really come to love, is how it really flushed something out about Obi-Wan, making him more human. So can I, and then I'm going to shut up, I promise.
No, that's okay.
The couple like little things that I would really like, and again, obviously expectations are the quickest way to disappointment, but something I would love to see in the series is ultimately like why is Obi-Wan getting involved with something? To me, it's like, well, kind of like with that episode of Twin Sons in Rebels. Obi-Wan springs to action when Luke is in threat. So I think, Katie, like your hope for like a possible young Luke character, I think makes a lot of sense. I think that's ultimately what will make Obi-Wan spring into any form of action is the person his purpose is in threat. And the thing that I really want to see, and again, I understand this is a great way to disappoint myself, but something I would just love to see is Obi-Wan do something kind of like crazy and nuts with the Force that Owen Lars sees, and that's what like leads to his comment in A New Hope that wizard's just a crazy old man.
I'd like a crazy old wizard.
Yeah, I'd love to see something that like fleshes that statement out. And again, and this is the beauty of these stories is we can take little offhand comments like that from these stories we grew up with for 40 odd years. And just kind of see the flesh behind them. So that to me is really exciting. That's something I'd really love to see in that series. And of course, lots of meditation and maybe a Liam Neeson Qui-Gon appearance. What? Who said that? I did.
Yeah. So that'd be awesome. I think we will get something, centered around Luke, at least peripherally, something that's going to be threatening Luke or the Lars homestead, because everything that we've gotten in the new canon, particularly in the comics or any like flashback memories or anything like that of Obi-Wan's time on Tatooine between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, is that he's on watch. He is guarding Luke and he is safeguarding this kid, and everything that we've gotten. It's not much, but we've gotten a couple of flashbacks to things that he's done on Tatooine in the comic series. And a lot of it revolves around Luke or keeping problems away from the homestead, and so I think it's a good bet that we're going to get something like that here. And I think that's the best use of the character at this time frame. Who knows? Maybe we'll see. Alden Ehrenreich make an appearance as Han Solo skipping through Mos Eisley.
Oh my gosh!
I just saw Carl and Katie's faces both with this like expression.
I had not even considered it. I had not even considered it. That would be so good, and it would be so like fan servicey, but I don't care. But like, what if like Luke Skywalker, he went into town with, Uncle Owen, and he's just kind of like waiting by the speeder and he's bored. And so he starts like playing ball, and then he like runs out into the street to get his ball and a car's going to hit him. And then Han Solo saves him.
Although now that I think of it, if this is 8 years after Revenge of the Sith, maybe the timeline doesn't quite add up because Solo's supposed to be 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, right?
So Han's still on Corellia. But we don't, again, this is a proposed number I've seen thrown around, doesn't mean that it's the fact. And secondly, it doesn't mean that Kenobi's series may not span a few years.
Right. That's the thing, too.
And there's
we could see Han and Chewie land on Tatooine to find that gangster Jabba and see what Jabba's got for him,
And let's be real, too. One thing we could certainly explore through the series is Maul. Right, Maul, 8 years after Revenge of the Sith, it would line up with Solo's timeline that Maul is probably the head of Crimson Dawn at that point, or at least building it. So there's a good chance that we could get Maul involved.
You have to keep him and Kenobi apart. And
absolutely.
I would be so fascinated with, Kenobi being aware that Maul is still kicking about, you know what I mean? And he's... because what if Maul, he's dealing with the Hutts, and maybe he has to come here and talk to Jabba himself. And, why is the crazy old man and the wizard involved? The crazy old wizard in the desert involved. He's not, but Kenobi still like hears about these things. He hears whisperings or whatever. He senses Maul. I don't know. It would be really interesting to see Kenobi kind of dealing with that at a distance, but I don't think they could get into like the nitty gritty of Maul, just because if it is a Kenobi series, then you have to keep him away from Maul.
Right.
You have to.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's essential. But I just like, my fanfic is, I really want to see like Alden Ehrenreich interact with tiny 10-year-old Luke Skywalker and him being all like, "You be careful, kid. Go on home." You know?
And Obi-Wan just steps out of the alleyway like he's about to grab Luke with the Force, and he's like,
Yeah.
Tuck that one away for future reference.
Yeah.
So.
I'm excited to see what other avenues they explore with Kenobi's character. A couple of years ago, our good friend Joe Hogan launched a little initiative before they brought Clone Wars back, called Clone Wars Saved, where they just got together a group of friends and they published these online comics. And Joe wrote the story and illustrated the first one, and it's essentially a story of old Ben reminiscing about losing Satine and kind of the pain that he still sits with. And, as someone who loves the dramatic stuff in Star Wars and loves the human emotional side of Star Wars, I love that being woven in, right? Like Obi-Wan still coming to terms with, in his mind, failing Anakin, and also failing, like, Satine, right? Like, to really see how he comes to terms with all that. Because I feel like the old Ben we meet in A New Hope is very, and obviously I think George purposely wrote his character this way. He is the wise old wizard, right? He's the one who ushers the hero into the unknown. And in a sense, Obi-Wan is a very spiritually grounded character in A New Hope. Somebody who seems to be very at peace with the way the world is, which is why I think he's so quick to give his life away in the way that he does. So I feel like 8 years out, we can really see what's happening with Obi-Wan internally. How is he getting to that place? What is his relationship with Qui-Gon like at this point? I mean, Yoda said that he was going to give him lessons to commune with Qui-Gon. I mean, this is potentially 8 years out. There's no reason to think that he isn't communing with Qui-Gon. Or Yoda, yeah.
Yeah, Yoda, straight up. That is a question I would like this series to answer, is like, what does Yoda mean when he says long time? Have I watched this one? I would love to see, like, Ewan talking to some sort of, I don't know, vision of Yoda, and Yoda watching over Luke somehow.
Well, they're in that series that they put out a couple years ago, From a Certain Point of View, there is a short story in there of Obi-Wan talking to Yoda.
Right.
That's
So again, there's no reason to think that couldn't appear in some way, shape, or form. So again, like, as someone who loves the Force, I'm excited to see the implications of what Obi-Wan learns here too, right? So yeah, I don't know. Food for thought.
Yes.
I'd actually kind of like to see him like get along with Tusken Raiders. You know what I mean? Like him learning how to, the Tusken Raiders aren't great, right? They steal and they burn and pillage and all that stuff, and they're slavers, aren't they? Like, but him kind of learning, how do you understand, evil, and, how do you reconcile it? Kind of taking those slower steps to, becoming somebody wise who can teach Luke, and somebody who can forgive Vader, something like that.
Yeah, I honestly, I was thinking, what would a trailer, I was thinking, we just got this trailer for Mandalorian. What would the first trailer for Kenobi be like? And I'm like, well, it's going to start with Obi-Wan and Kenobi and Tusken Raiders.
Yeah.
So, that's that's how I'm picturing it. So, but yeah, no, I think some sort of confrontation, or maybe a progressive series of confrontations with a tribe of Tusken Raiders happens, but they leave him alone, Can I? They leave him alone for a while.
I would much rather see Kenobi with Jawas.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I'm being completely honest. Like, there's
that too.
There's this little moment in the radio dramas, and I know those aren't canon anymore, but there's a moment in an episode of the radio drama where when they come across all the dead Jawas, And Obi-Wan makes a comment about how, how hard and rough the Jawas' lives have always been, and still so terrible that it would be ended in such a way. He's like, the way he speaks about the Jawas in that moment is a person who is so enlightened that he cares for all creatures. And there's almost, and again, this is obviously me reading into this little statement, but to me, it's almost like Obi-Wan, like he's had some dealings with the Jawas, and he really respects that they're making ends meet in a very harsh climate, right? Whereas the Tuskens are more likely, right? They're the predators. They're the ones who just take, and because they're snuffing it out in a hostile environment as well. But they're the predator. They just take. There's something aggressive about them. But the Jawas, they're not the predators, right? They're the survivors. So I don't know. I feel like there'd be more of a kinship from Obi-Wan's side towards the Jawas than to the Tuskens. Not that he necessarily hates the Tuskens and kills them for fun, but
no.
Obi-Wan protecting Jawas from the Tusken Raiders,
right?
Yeah, but that's kind of almost what I'm saying is that, Obi-Wan kind of like hanging back and observing these Tusken Raiders and thinking, they're part of life, that why do these predators like keep happening, and what are they getting out of it, and how do we reconcile it, and how do we live with it? Because Anakin's answer to just kill them all.
Right.
That's not the way to go. That doesn't help anything or stop anyone,
Right.
And so Obi-Wan kind of maybe figuring out a different way would be really cool.
Yeah. And that makes me think of the deleted scene from Last Jedi where Luke kind of tricks Rey about these pirates coming against the caretakers. So Rey runs off and
to save them,
But Luke's lesson to her there is trying to say, like, no, a Jedi would just let it happen. You're here now to help defend them, but when you leave, they're just going to come back and exact an even larger toll. So, how does Obi-Wan maybe respond in a scenario similar to that where, I could come to their rescue, but then do I have to always, like, is that my role to always be coming to the rescue? So I like that notion, Katie, of like, how does he figure that out in a new way? So
exactly. Yeah. Because again, Anakin's solution, that's not a solution.
Right.
Yeah. And of course, folks, this is all spitballing and hypothetical because
what else we got to do?
We don't have anything else at this point.
You guys didn't get Kathy Kennedy didn't forward you the advanced copies of the scripts? Am I the only one looking at this?
Yeah, just you.
Just these red pieces of paper that I can't photocopy? I'm sorry.
She's like, Carl, I've heard that you love Solo the most.
Yes,
so
I do.
You get
So you get the Obi-Wan scripts.
Congratulations.
And you didn't share them with us, Carl?
Yeah.
I love Solo as much.
Yeah, so I'll let this slip then. So this title for the Kenobi series is actually just Kenobi, Jawa Defender. So a Star Wars story, of course.
Kenobi, Jawa Defender, a Star Wars story.
So
add as many colons in this thing as we can. So Kenobi, colon,
good Kenobi.
Star Wars or Jawa Defender, colon, Star Wars story.
The new one's called The Mandalorian. What if Kenobi is called The Wizard?
Oh, that'd be so cool.
I would actually love that.
Crap, that'd be so cool. That would be amazing.
Wizard.
Oh, totally Wizard, Annie.
It's totally
and the Cassian one is called The Spy.
Right. Ooh.
Ooh.
And then when they make a Solo series for Disney Plus, they can call it Carl's Boyfriend.
I love it.
Oh man.
I don't think Jason's okay. He's not all right. You gonna be okay, buddy?
Speaking of Disney Plus, let's talk about Mandalorian, the flagship show that's going to kick this streaming service off. And also, quick side note before we even dive into the nuts and bolts of this great trailer we saw. I didn't realize all the other great stuff that's going to be on this. Like, we're getting all the old Disney classic movies. We're getting all the Star Wars stuff in one place. I didn't know Nat Geo was part of this. I love Nat Geo stuff. So we're going to get some great nature documentaries. There's just so much on this program. I'm so excited about it. And it's $8 a month. That's nothing.
I mean that's the
I shouldn't say that's nothing. For some people, that is something. Even for myself, I don't mean to be trivial about it. It's not nothing, but it's not like exorbitant. Hopefully for some folks.
I just hope it stays that way for a little while, because you know that
Right.
It's, yeah,
Did
that's
you
the
see-
entry price.
Apparently, yeah, and apparently,
I might actually drop my Netflix account when this goes.
yeah, we
Yeah, for real though? For
yeah,
real
you're gonna
though.
get Marvel. Did you see?
I'm
too,
sorry,
apparently-
I'm sorry, Netflix, but I haven't watched you in a while.
Yeah, well,
No, but for reals, you guys, you know how much it cost to go to Disneyland like 15 years ago?
Yeah.
$40.
Wow.
Yeah. 40. Yeah.
Wow,
And you know
that's-
how much it costs to go like today? If I want to go to Disneyland like today,
It-
it costs
140.
120, 140. Yeah, exactly.
Jeez.
Yeah, for serious. So, yeah, Disney Plus, $8 for now.
yeah. Well, and apparently, when it launches, they're doing a deal with Hulu and ESPN Plus, where it's $13 a month for all three of those.
Okay.
But I have Hulu through Spotify, so I don't.
Oh.
Netflix is dying to me because they're getting rid of Friends, so whatever.
Yeah,
I
like
don't
what's
care.
in The Office? They're losing The Office. What's even the point?
Anyway, sorry, we're sidetracking ourselves.
We are.
But The Mandalorian, so I was lucky enough, that was the one panel I did get into at Celebration Chicago, where we did see, like a 5-minute clip from the first episode. We saw a trailer there as well as a behind the scenes reel. But I really liked this trailer a lot. Jason, you said something when you messaged us just today about it. You commented on the music.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love the music in this trailer. It's driving. It's weird. It's cool. I don't know. I just love it. I want the music in this trailer to be from the show because I want more of this music in Star Wars.
It definitely will.
Yeah.
Ooh, there it is.
So ominous.
This stuff is okay, but it's what comes next. This.
Ooh.
I don't know what it is about this, but it got into my under my skin, and I love it.
Dang, yeah, listen to that.
I don't know.
It feels Mandalorian.
Yes.
It feels. This feels like that fight between Maul and Pre Vizsla.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's what
Which,
this
of
sounds
course, John Favreau voiced Pre Vizsla, and he's the director of this series. So,
Yeah. Still just driving.
yeah, he doesn't stop.
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession. Don't you agree?
I love that
Yeah.
that part. I want that to be like the base of the soundtrack for this show. I want every time we get these traveling shots, I want that to be playing in the background. Just dum dum dum.
Oh, it will.
That's the-
This has got to be like the theme. Like the Mandalorian's going to be walking down the street, and this is going to be playing. And it's got to be the theme somewhere.
It's gonna be like it's every time things are about to get real, that starts playing.
Yeah, it's going to be like, we're in a saloon and things are getting real tense, and you can tell blasters are about to get drawn.
Yes. Okay, so here's the thing, folks. This was the one going into finding out we were getting the Mandalorian. That I was like, okay, I'll watch it. And I did not get into the Mandalorian panel at Celebration. And so, hearing about things sort of, secondhand and watching, phone recordings of the videos just wasn't doing it for me. So I was like, whatever, I'll wait and see what happens when they actually give me a trailer. And I've watched this trailer like almost a dozen times today. I had not seen it before today. I've not seen it before today because I was so busy over the weekend with work. And I've watched this trailer like almost a dozen times already by now. And I'm loving this trailer. I'm excited. I'm really excited about The Mandalorian, y'all.
Do you have a favorite part of the trailer?
It's so hard. Honestly, the weird thing that keeps sticking in my head is just the voiceover that happens at the end. You know, the bounty hunting is a complicated profession. Don't you agree? That sounds so like weird and Star Wars. And then the title.
Like a cape or something.
The cape that you know, flutters away out from in front of the title. I don't know. That grabs me. The music and then that is just, those are the big things that really stand out to me. I love the whole trailer in general, but yeah, those are the big things that stand out. Sorry, go ahead.
Star Wars is about capes. We've been new.
Yep. Star Wars is about capes.
Just really good capes. Really capes.
Yes.
For me, what steals this for me, honestly, is IG-11. Oh my gosh, you guys.
Yeah.
IG-11. Cool.
He's going to be voiced by Taika Waititi.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right.
For those of you who are like, who's that? He's the director of Thor Ragnarok, and he was, what's the character? Korg?
Korg. Yeah, Korg.
Korg in Thor Ragnarok. Hey, man. You know, this name starts a revolution.
He does have.
We can get the pamphlets. You know, he's such a funny character in there. But I'm very curious to see what they're going to do with him as IG-11. I don't know what that's going to be. So
just that shot of him being like just a murder machine, you know, spinning all around, gunslinging. That is an attractive shot, and that is an attractive robot. I'll be the one to say it. You can at me. That's fine. That is an attractive robot. I have not seen a robot that I have liked this much since L3 and K2. Like, let's be. Yeah. Star Wars, you're really up in that attractive robot game. Like I told you, I feel weak, you guys.
I mean, IG-11's the bad boy. I mean, L3, like she's got the sass, and K2's also got the sass, but IG-11's not going to say much. They're just going to be a badass. You know?
Oh man, I really hope that there's a moment where somebody asks IG-11 like, how does that work? And IG-11's just like, it works. Like, you know? Just please.
Or IG-11 will just wink with one of their little button lights and just say, "You'll never know."
Oh, like, that would be so smooth. Boom.
The one thing I did get sort of a sense of is there's that one shot of the woman holding the child in the pond or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the idea I'm getting is that she is related in some way to the Mandalorian. I don't know if it's his wife or maybe a sister.
It feels like a flashback. Like, this is my tragic backstory.
I don't know if it's a flashback. It might be his actual family, and he's doing all this bounty hunting to help support his family in this new, galaxy where the Empire is no longer in control. I don't know. I honestly think, it's a complicated, bounty hunting is a complicated profession. Don't you agree? There's so much to go into this other than the fact that he's a cool gunslinger with a cool robot sidekick, taking down bounties. There's going to be so much more to this, and I'm really fascinated to find out what that is and why it's happening,
I'm going to put mine out there. Could be totally wrong, but the sense I get from this is that, like, this is the tragic backstory, and that's his mom, and his mom's, like, protecting him.
Ooh.
Like, the little kid is him, and that's his mom. That's I'm going to throw that out there. Totally wrong. Could be totally wrong, but
who cares? I like that.
Right?
What about you, Carl?
I have so much to say. This could easily be a boy, by the way. I just pulled up that still. I mean, you can't tell. It could easily be a boy.
It's just a kid.
Yeah, it's a kid. Yeah. So here's the thing. So I watched the trailer a few more times today, and just trying to pay attention to, like, maybe what are the themes of this. I love the opening shot. I mean, with just the stormtrooper helmets on these spikes, right? Like, and by the way, you don't get a full reveal of the Mandalorian until about halfway into the trailer. You only ever, you see his feet there, and then you see, like, a flash of him walking by. They're all like these little right. It's like this slow reveal till you finally get him in all his glory. And all of these little snippets are the Mandalorian walking in the midst of death, right? Like all of these things that surround him are dead. The Empire is dead. Violence is his world. It's his backdrop. It's what he knows. It's the world he lives and operates within. And then, boom, we get that shot you were just talking about, Jason, with this woman holding what appears to be probably her child. And it's right there. It's like, yup, now here is, like, this is going to be the heart somehow. There's a heart to this story, right? And then it goes right from that shot to these death troopers in a death line, right? Like they're about to gun something down. Right, like what could possibly protect these innocents from death? Well, the one who surrounded himself in death can protect you from its reach. And that's why I like this Mandalorian. And then you get that beautiful shot of him walking kind of, I don't know if it's sunset or sunrise, right, with that kind of purplish glow behind him, which makes me think it's sunset potentially. But you have this lone figure who, for whatever reason, is comfortable in the profession of death. And you're going to need someone like that to protect the innocents. And, like, to me, that's kind of what his story, in my mind, again, speculation, might become, is he is a hard, calculating, cold, murdering thug who does have a heart. Like, that's Star Wars, right? Like, that's Star Wars in and of itself. There's going to be more to it than just that. And also, like, we know, there's... Again, God, this is what we do as Star Wars fans. We read so much into things. In that one little shot of Carl Weathers' character, whose character I don't remember the name of. I know we've been given it. But when he's sitting across from him at the cantina and he just reaches across. Again, you still don't see him yet. You just see his hand now. We've seen his feet. Now we've seen his hands. His hands, right? His feet are walking amidst death. His hands are just reaching for money. But there's just the way that Carl Weathers' character looks at him. The way he kind of has this smile, it's as if he knows there's more to him than that. And right, and then the other new female character, again, can't remember the name of the character or the actress, my apologies. But Star Wars, what is one of the main themes of Star Wars? Found family. Like, the Mandalorian is going to find himself a family. IG-11's probably part of it.
Probably. I hope that's his Chewbacca / K2 /
Right.
Yeah.
So, like... I don't know. I think that whatever all these characters coming together, they're going to find something together that they can't have on their own, right? And that's Star Wars, in my opinion. That's a central theme of Star Wars. So yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited for it and the avenue it's going to explore.
I want to say that I love how cinematic this is. There wasn't a single shot that didn't look like it could have come out of a Star Wars movie. And I love that. I'm just straight up, I love it. Yeah. And I love how experimental a lot of the shots are, it doesn't look like a TV show. It really does look like it's going to offer a cinematic experience. I sound like I'm making a commercial for it, but really, I really hope it is kind of like a Star Wars movie. I don't know. This got my hopes
looks
up.
like it will be. It looks like it will be. A Star Wars movie that they've broken up into episode length segments. It's so interesting and fascinating. And obviously we didn't get a lot revealed out of the trailer, but it still has me so psyched and pumped. Because, I don't know, it just looks amazing. And the feel I'm getting, the vibe I'm getting off of this thing is not something I knew I wanted in Star Wars. And I think that's what has me more excited about it than anything, is that this isn't something I thought I wanted until I saw it. And the vibe and the feel and the sense I'm getting from it is just such a different look into the world of Star Wars that I didn't anticipate. And the fact that they're surprising me with this and grabbing my attention with this in such a way that's making me this excited is impressive. And I will tip my hats off to The Mandalorian right now, ladies and gentlemen. I will be watching that first thing I can whenever, November 12th. Disney Plus, here I go. Take my money. I need to watch The Mandalorian.
I'd also like to formally thank Disney for finally bringing back Twi'leks. Like, thank you.
Yes!
Finally, it feels, like they're not just making up their new aliens. They're finally like bringing back some old aliens. Thank you.
And a Quarren who gets a real nasty end.
Yeah.
Oof.
Well, and that
was that in the panel, Carl?
No. Not the Quarren.
Okay.
No. Some of this was, and I'm trying to. Where's this shot? Yeah, like if you pause it, like 39 second mark. That little, what kind of looks like an Ugnaught riding that little creature. Those creatures were first premiered in Ewoks Battle for Endor. I can't remember the name of them. The guys at Blast
They're blurgs.
Blurgs, yeah.
Blurgs.
But we've seen them in Clone Wars. We saw Cham Syndulla riding one. We've seen them, but again, they got their first take in Battle for Endor. So that
very
great
cool
cinematic film from Lucasfilm. So yeah, no, it's I'm excited for this movie. TV series. And I also like they did, share that they're going to release weekly. Like it's not going to be, like a Netflix series that drops all at once. And the reason, obviously, part of me wants it, of course, all at once, which I'm sure a lot of us do. Mm-hmm. But I really like that we don't, because it gives you a different experience, right? Like kind of like Game of Thrones, right? And we don't have to talk about the last season because it was not good, in my opinion. But overall, Game of Thrones used to be amazing, and it was great every week, like talking to your friends about it.
Yeah.
The thing was, when you have like Stranger Things, this was my experience this summer, is like people would sit down and binge, which I inevitably did once I had the time. But you have everybody that wants to talk about it, or somebody's going to spoil something. Like, you could certainly still spoil something with a week-to-week episode. People did that with Game of Thrones very well in the last season. Because, I would always watch it, the day after. So I'd have to avoid Twitter for 24 hours.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But overall, what's so great about that experience is, everybody's always on the same page, inevitably, right? I like that, and I'm so excited for it.
Oh yeah, same. I love that we can all experience it as a community, because as you were saying with Stranger Things, sitting down to talk to it with someone, it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm on episode 5, but you're on episode 3, and our other friend over here hasn't even started the new season yet. I guess we can't talk,
right?
Right. Right. So then you just don't talk about it, and it's very frustrating in that way. But with the once a week, not once a week, once every week. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? Yes. We can all be on the same page, like you say, Carl. And I'm so hyped for that. I'm so ready.
Yeah.
So, well, I think the last big thing we got to talk about is, of course, Rise of Skywalker.
You're not going to talk about my boy? You're going to do me like that?
Ooh, who's your boy?
Darth Maul.
Oh, right. Sorry. Yeah. I forgot Yes. Clone Wars. Obviously, they announced we're getting that final season in February of 2020. Now, they did not share if they were going to drop it all at once or week to week. And then, obviously, all we got was the still shot of Maul facing down Ahsoka. A very cinematic shot in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
And
it looks good. Maul looks good.
He does.
It's just a real good close up of his V-neck. That V-neck that I love so much.
He loves those deep V's.
I love those deep V's on Darth Maul. Just show me them chest tattoos. Just do it.
Oh my gosh! But yes, it looks the image looks amazing. I doubt we'll get. Well, I was about to say I doubt we'll get any more trailers before it hits, but maybe.
We got time.
We got time.
Slow your roll. We will get.
It's true.
Yeah, we will get.
It's true.
Trailer. Yeah,
it's true.
We'll get more. We absolutely will.
I'm just glad we finally have a date so we can stop saying, sometime it'll be on Disney Plus.
Right.
I'm glad we finally got a date, and I think it's good that it's sort of spaced. They're spacing these out slightly, too, so we're not just front loading everything good, and then go, well, now what, So, but it'll give people a chance to probably finish Mandalorian and then go right into Clone Wars. That would be my guess is how they're going to run that. So,
yeah. Well, and I know Mandalorian, Jon Favreau is already, I don't know if he finished, but he's definitely started season 2, writing season 2. So we know we're getting at least a second season.
Wow.
Hopefully it lives longer than Resistance, which, by the way, just real quick, I'm really bummed that this is the second and final season of Resistance. I really liked the show.
Yep.
Yep. You know, I mean, I know a lot of fans. I really learned this at Celebration. A lot of people just weren't watching it, but who cares, right? Like, it's not. It wasn't for a lot of them, clearly. I was just really bummed to see that they're just dropping it so quickly because I think it's been a great series. So that's my opinion.
The thing is that so much of this takes place in such a small amount of time with a very specific group of characters. And so I can see why 2 seasons could work, you know, for something like Resistance, you know, especially since the first season basically leads us up to and just after The Force Awakens, and then The Last Jedi happens immediately after that. So we'll probably pass The Last Jedi within the first 2 episodes of Resistance. And then it'll sort of, you know, continue on and build towards whatever we get for the Rise of Skywalker.
Right.
And so, you know, and then after the Rise of Skywalker, are they going to even need to have the Resistance anymore? You know, so I can understand why, you know, maybe they plan for 2 seasons. Maybe they plan for more. I don't know. I don't know the details of it, but it's a series that while I'm definitely enjoying it, I can see why it wouldn't necessarily need to go on super long.
That's fair.
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm glad we'll get it back in October. So
yes.
I'm excited for more of it.
Yeah.
I need some more Niku in my life.
Yes, we all do.
Everybody needs more Niku.
We all need more Niku.
But was there anything else you wanted to say about Maul, though, Katie?
Just blowfish. I'm sorry.
Blowfish.
I'm sorry. No.
We're not calling each other blowfish.
Just blowfish.
God, I love that episode so much.
Oh my god.
My apprentice, Darth Blowfish. He will find your lost blowfish.
Thank you so much.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you so much for bringing that back.
No. No, I don't even know why I needed to make us talk about Maul, because there's nothing to say, just that he looks good and I want to run my hands all over his chest. It needed to be said. It needed to be said. Okay.
Hey, you got to live your truth.
Yeah,
It's okay.
I do.
It's all right.
I gotta be me, you guys.
Yeah.
Katie's very bad at being anything other than Katie, so
Yeah. Yep.
oh my gosh. But yes.
Let's talk about some Rise of Skywalker, you guys. I'm Nick frickin' losing it.
It looks, I mean, right, so, like I said, we're recording Sunday evening, so we are still behind the sizzle reel. Obviously, we learned some stuff from folks that were there.
Yes.
But, what is, we did get, like, that little snippet of footage that people immediately shared. And, of course,
10
the poster.
seconds?
Yeah, it's literally 10 seconds.
Yep.
So, what hopped out at you in those 10 seconds?
I mean, honestly, since it was, 10 seconds on somebody's phone filming a giant screen, I only saw it once. And the thing that just stands out to me is that the Vader helmet is coming back,
Well, we've been new.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Pablo made a point of being all like, oh yeah, it was recovered from Starkiller Base. So like we've been new.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I don't mean to be like a downer about it. I'm just not surprised, honestly.
I mean, I'm not surprised either, because honestly, I thought it was on his Star Destroyer, not on Starkiller Base. So that's kind of new to me. I thought it was on his Star Destroyer, but yeah, no, the fact that that's coming back, and the fact that I saw an article that talked about it, the reference that in the new Vader comic that Palpatine gifts a helmet from an old Sith Lord to Vader in order to essentially, continue to torment him, because the spirit of this Sith is still attached to the helmet, and it's a cruel being. And Vader has to have this sort of force takedown with the guy. And so they brought that up, and they're like, could Sidious be speaking through the helmet to Kylo? And I'm just like, that's not a bad theory, So, honestly, of the 10 seconds we got, that's the thing that stands out. And it's not necessarily even because of the shot, because I didn't take a good look at it. It's because of the theory. I'm just honestly waiting to get the full sizzle reel, and then I'll, pay attention to all the intricacies of the shots and stuff. So,
what did you guys think of the poster?
That's the interesting thing.
Wait, can we go back to the footage though? Really quick?
Sure.
Oh, do you
okay. Well, I wanted to get through like the boring stuff, honestly, before we got to Katie freaking out and tearing out her hair and just jumping out a window. Honestly, I'm about to throw myself out the window, you guys.
It's good that she lives on the first floor, folks.
Yeah, right.
Still might hurt, but
you just hear like smash. It's like, oh, there's.
The poster honestly did very little for me.
Really?
Didn't really.
Wow.
The only
okay.
I saw something on Twitter this morning that I retweeted. Somebody kind of gave it a facelift to look more like the Revenge of the Jedi original teaser poster. I really liked that a lot. But as it stands,
you're such an OT guy, Carl. I love you.
Thank you.
I love that about you.
The other one just looks like cheesy cartoon work. I don't care for the art style. Palpatine looks terrible in my book. Why are they fighting on a lightsaber hilt? Like, it makes no sense to me. I
thought that was like crumbling rubble or like something. I didn't think that was a lightsaber hilt
or even
I think it's the remains of the Death Star. I think all those like Death Star remains. I think they're out there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I think, and I think it's not necessarily rain, but just like ocean and stuff. Coming down. Like waves are crashing up against the side, of the Death Star, and then like falling back down on them. It's like spray. Like,
yeah,
that's what I think is going on. I don't think it's raining.
Yeah. I mean, the thing I like about it is how it does very much mimic kind of the showdown of Anakin versus Obi-Wan from Revenge of the Sith. Just there's something about the visual setup of the shot. I mean, it does. It just makes me think of their final duel on Mustafar. So I like it because there's going to be something very personal about this fight. Whatever they mean to each other, whatever their relationship is with one another, there's something very personal about this fight, right? This isn't Duel of the Fates. It's not a faceless Jedi against a faceless Sith. It is people who somewhat know one another who are fighting it out. So I appreciate kind of that emotive look, but just the colors of it I don't know if either of you, when Force Awakens came out, they might have done it for Last Jedi as well. I don't remember. But the IMAX, for 4 straight weeks, they did these different little IMAX posters that you got for the first 4 weeks of Force Awakens. It reminds me a lot of that art style. I thought they were fine for releasing like an IMAX reveal, but as like a teaser poster, I strongly disliked it.
Well, that's the thing, is it is just a teaser poster. It's not going to be the full release poster.
I'm thinking of the teaser poster we got that Drew Struzan did though for Force Awakens, which was gorgeous. Like this thing, I just think it looks like something for like an animated series, which if it was, cool, but it's for the final Star Wars saga film, and I was just very underwhelmed. So that's why when someone gave it a facelift, I'm like, I can get on board for this. But the original one,
you gotta live your truth, God.
Yeah, I don't mean to yuck your yam. I mean, if you love this poster, that's awesome. It did not do anything for me. So
well, here I come.
Yeah, please.
It's like, oh, people who love it, I'm here. Yes, yes. Yeah, I love it. I love the use of the red and the blue. I love the lightning. I think that's such a really good touch, especially if we're going to be evoking Palpatine. And I love that if Palpatine is going to be our Phantom Menace, if he's what has been overarching this entire saga, and orchestrating these fights and everything. I love that he's just like over this fight of Rey and Kylo and just like grinning because he could not be happier about this conflict. That's what the Clone Wars was. He orchestrated this conflict, and we have no reason to fight. You know what I mean? Like, Rey and Kylo have no reason to fight. They should be able to work this out the same way they worked things out when they sat down and actually talked to each other. You know what I mean? Like, Padme, let's use our words here, people.
Yeah.
But they're clashing, and nature itself is railing against it, reacting to their fight, and Palpatine is just like, yes, perfect, because conflict, he's thriving on the conflict. And I don't know, this poster does a lot for me in that way.
Yeah, I like the concept of the poster. I think it's a cool idea for a teaser poster. Obviously, I am looking forward to the full real poster when they get everybody on there, because those are the posters that I buy. But I like this poster as sort of a tease to what we're going to get next. The concept of it, I think, is really, really cool and unique. Well, not unique, but cool. Definitely has the feel of some other Star Wars posters we've gotten. The only thing is that's sort of weird to me is that Sidious looks like some sort of, Palpatine looks like some sort of amalgamation of Revenge of the Sith Palpatine mixed with some other stuff. I don't know if, this is new Ian McDiarmid photo, or if this is like a Photoshop of some older stuff that's been put together for this picture. And it's just a little weird to have his sort of orange eyes when the rest of him is blue. I don't know. The whole, I like the concept. I like the use of the blue and the red in the color scheme with Rey and Kylo, and I like the fact that Sidious is looming over it. But I don't know, the detail work in Palpatine's face is just a little weird to me. I don't know. That's the one thing that I'm like, the one thing I get stuck on. I'm like, it's just, I don't know, it's a little strange in my opinion. So
okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
But I do like it as far as like what it's projecting forward for us in terms of what we're gonna get.
Yeah.
And the potential story implications that we get from this. So
yeah.
I like the implication that the story comes back to Rey and Kylo, that they are. I like that reinforcement that this relationship is the central relationship of this trilogy.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
And that we have to get rid of the seed of this evil once and for all. And that's what's going to bring the galaxy back to peace.
Right. Well, and it works really well. Just again, yes, I don't love it for how it is, but I love these themes that you guys are unpacking. And again, the way it mirrors the Revenge of the Sith, all the Revenge of the Sith stuff, right, was about centralizing this lightsaber fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan, because it all comes back to them. And the same was true with that Return of the Jedi teaser we got back in 1983, where it's actually Empire Strikes Back, Luke and Vader dueling on the poster. But again, that this trilogy is summed up in their relationship. So, great point there, Katie, about how the sequel trilogy is ultimately summed up in the relationship of these two characters. So again, just visually, I love it. I love that it's about that, right? It's always been about this conflict between two people who are intensely personally close to one another in some way, shape, or form. That's been true for every trilogy. So to get that back visually is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Did you want to say anything else about the 10 seconds of footage, Carl? Before all right. What do you want to say?
First off, Poe Dameron, super hot.
Yes.
Secondly,
Thank you.
Yeah. Secondly, Finn, also super hot. I love that new hairstyle is great. Rey, marry me.
I think we could just include super hot in terms of everything in that thing, everything in that in those. So it's like.
But to be fair, I think the thing I love the most, though, and Katie, this I'm sure you'll want to jump out the window because I feel like you'll have something to say. Yeah. When Rey is looking at Finn and says, "It's too dangerous. I have to go alone."
Oh my gosh!
And I immediately just I was like, but they won't let her because that's her family now, and I love them. Right? Like, that's why, I love, like, that is such a Rey statement, and it's not coming from a place of arrogance or pompous sense of pride. It's, I love you, all of you, and this is dangerous. I'm still this solo scavenger. I'll take care of this type of a thing. But again, this is obviously conjecture, but to me it's like Finn and then Poe and Chewie and 3PO and whoever the hell else. Rose. They're going to be like, no, we're going with you. And that's because, again, that's Star Wars. It's found family and this family that Rey has. And again, just I want to reiterate 1,000 times, I'm just so excited that all of our heroes are going on an adventure together.
Yes.
I'm just so excited for that simple statement from Rey. Says so much about how she sees herself within the story as it comes to its conclusion. But we're going to see how she, in some way, can't do this on her own, and that's the beauty. You don't have to. We're never alone in this. So.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I love that she has this support system now and that they're all coming with her. I do think ultimately she will have to go on her own, because if it does come back to her and Kylo, Luke could not have walked into that room with Vader, the throne room with Leia and everybody. You know what I mean? He did need to walk into that room alone and confront Vader on his own. You know, that was very much his. Or maybe that was his mistake. I don't know. I don't know. I do think she and Kylo have things to work out that they need to work out alone with each other.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe bringing everybody with her to talk Ben Solo down, maybe that's what he needs. I don't know. I'm conflicted now.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I mean, I think in some way, sure. The two of them will probably have to, on their own, figure all that out. But I just think kind of the grand scheme of things, though, right? Like, this is going to be super dangerous. I've got to go on this adventure alone. Where it's like, nope, you don't, right?
Yeah, exactly. You have a family now.
And think of it too, like even just thematically, right? The reason, one of the major themes of Last Jedi is that of failure, right, and how we respond to our failures. Last Jedi is ultimately a failure for so many of the heroes because they try to do it alone. Right, like Poe and Finn are trying to hatch something on their own. They're doing it on, out of the guise of, or out of the gaze of others. Rey's going off on this adventure on her own. She's venturing all around Octo, doing her own thing. I mean, understandably, Luke's being a pain in the ass. And Luke, again, he's off on his own. That's his ultimate failure, is he thinks that he has to seclude himself. So Last Jedi is ultimately about everybody's failure because they're trying to go it alone. And I think just, for her to in some way make that statement in this third act, in this third part of the final film, for her to say that statement, I just feel like, that's why everyone failed last time, because you tried to go it alone. So.
Well, you remember, like, when Poe was coming up with his whole big plan, and C-3PO's in the background, all like, "I'm not sure Admiral Holdo would like that." He's like, maybe not. And then Poe's just like, "Well, she doesn't need to know."
Right.
And, and then Anthony Daniels been saying, he was saying it all at the episode 9 panel about how nobody listens to C-3PO, and maybe you should all be listening to C-3PO. And I'm like, you guys listen to C-3PO, which is like. Yeah, can we talk about stuff that wasn't in the actual footage that, people have been... Yeah, one of the things is apparently one of the clips was C-3PO with red eyes.
Ooh. Yeah.
Oh,
that's
you guys...
a little freaky.
Do you guys know this?
No, I didn't know that.
I did not know about that. There's the big one that I've heard about.
Yeah. We getting there. We getting there.
I had no idea about 3PO.
One of the shots is, because, reports vary. Some people think that maybe it was light reflecting off of his eyes, like he shut down and there's a red light reflecting on his eyes. Other people are saying, no, his eyes were glowing red. Either way, I'm a little shook. You guys.
How could you not be?
I'm theorizing, they keep saying that C-3PO is really going to step up this episode, and I'm thinking it has to do with C-3PO's memories, honestly. I think we're coming back to C-3PO doesn't know that he knows. You know?
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, I'm thinking if he is shut down, then maybe, they're doing something with his memory core or something. Or if his eyes turned red, it's because, I don't know, something went weird with 3PO. I don't know, you guys. But we can speculate wildly.
Oof. Yeah, I had no idea about that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Or maybe it's just CP3X, the protocol droid that Darth Maul made.
I was saying, when is she going to bring up?
CP3X, there he is. Yeah,
Yep,
there he is.
There we go. All right. I mean, and everybody's been talking about, 3PO is going to be like, murder robot this time. And so it's like, he's going to have a gun. There was that one poster that was released,
he's holding the bowcaster.
May or may not be legit. He's holding like a bowcaster or something, and it's like, okay, that's weird. But maybe if they're at their last, wit's end, whatever, they arm everyone, including the protocol droid.
Yeah, here's the blaster, 3PO. I'm not sure this is hold the blaster, 3PO. I'm not going to say it again.
Oh dear. Die, Jedi dogs!
Oh, what did I say? That's so good.
Oh goodness.
So was the only other, like, the big thing that I heard, obviously, that came from the sizzle reel is Rey with a double-bladed red lightsaber.
Rey with a double-bladed lightsaber.
Yeah. Wow.
I heard it was Rey in black with a red double-bladed lightsaber.
Yeah, that's what it is. So the description I've heard is that, okay, so, we're looking at Kylo, we're looking at the Vader helmet, and then the screen goes dark for too long. Like, it goes dark. And then you hear Palpatine saying, your journey reaches its end. And then cut to Rey in a black robe with, like, her staff, but she, like, unsnaps it. It's, like, folded over, and then she snaps it together, and it turns into a double-bladed red lightsaber. Like, like,
okay.
Whoa, yeah, it is a moment. I'm here for it. You guys, I need to tell you something. I need to tell you. I'm actually technically no longer human. I am now a she-beast of vindication. So, yeah, 2 years ago, July 2017.
That was more than 2 years ago.
Oh, my God. 2 years ago, July 2017, I tweeted, quote, if Rey ever wields a double-bladed lightsaber, I will shed my mortal cocoon and rise as a she-beast of vindication. Just
We're
like,
now
I'm
podcasting with a she-beast of vindication, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm alive. I'm living. I'm actually living. Who knew that Rey was actually Darth Maul's daughter? Oh, wait, I did. I knew that. I've been saying.
Yeah. And of course, now the whole thing is, the internet is starting to speculate. Oh, is she going to go dark? Is she going to go dark? Is she going to go? No, folks, this is a vision, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I disagree. I think she is going dark. Well, not that she's going dark, but that she's letting herself express her, her dark side. She's letting herself have that because she needs to let herself have it, you guys, before she has to work through it before she can move past it, is what I think. Yeah. But I totally understand.
I think that's entirely, yeah. I mean, I'm totally on board with that probably being the case, but I still think that that's happening within a vision. Okay. I mean, I still think that would be happening within a vision because I don't, with everything else that we've seen from Rise of Skywalker, granted it hasn't been much, Rey has always been in this white. And that she's been this beacon of goodness, and I am convinced that should this actually be the case when we watch the sizzle reel tomorrow, and that this hasn't been like some cruel joke that everyone's been playing on us over the weekend, right? Then I will sit there and say, until I see the movie, it's a vision of some sort, because what happened when we got the trailers for Force Awakens? We got the Knights of Ren and all this other stuff that happened in a vision,
Okay.
and they played that Knights of Ren clip in the trailer as if it was something in the movie that had more consequence than a vision. Not that Vision didn't have consequence, but that it was part of the story. And the stuff with Luke in The Last Jedi watching the temple burn, which we figured was a flashback of some sort, ended up being a flashback, but we're sitting there watching him, see this happen with R2. But they play it like that in the trailer, so I don't know. I'm convinced at this point, until I see, anything that starts to say otherwise, that this is going to be a vision of some sort, which freaking cool vision. Ray Maul.
Yes, Ray Maul Walker.
Yes, Ray Maul Walker. Everyone's wanted it.
Yeah. Well, see, here's my thought. This is movie 3. And both Anakin and Luke started wearing black in movie 3 of their trilogy.
Yeah,
that's my thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
point granted.
Thank you.
Point taken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick, this sizzle reel is it not behind the scenes then? Is it just like footage from the film?
Yeah, it's footage from the film, like straight up.
Sweet.
Yeah.
But it's not a trailer.
No, it's not a trailer.
Okay.
It's more like a teaser. Yeah.
Okay.
So teaser 2, essentially.
Teaser 2, yeah. But it has new footage, is what we're hearing.
Awesome.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Good Morning America is on early. Thank God.
I'm so excited. I'm sorry, but like when they gave Rey the staff, they were writing a check for a double-bladed lightsaber that they had to cash. I'm sorry, J.J. Abrams, you don't write that check and don't cash it. Okay?
Yeah. We all talked about that early on when we saw her with the staff. We're like, well, what if she gets a double-bladed lightsaber?
It's the natural progression, okay? Like episode 1, double-bladed lightsaber. The saga has to end where it began, okay? It took us 8 movies to get back here, but it was worth it.
It's tough to just like not being able to see it still. Like it's hard to make strong conjecture, and even seeing it again, it's probably gonna be like a 2-second thing, right?
Right.
That we're gonna spill all sorts of thoughts and feelings into, which is again our right as Star Wars fans. But I don't know, like the thing about Rey 2. So one of the big things that remind me if this was in a trailer or also a sizzle reel, but when we got that clip for Last Jedi of Rey, wielding Kylo's lightsaber, right? People like immediately went like, "Oh, she's gonna go dark side," right? Like that's where people immediately jump.
Yeah.
What did we learn now with Last Jedi? Why does she call Kylo's lightsaber? Well, because Rey's a survivor. She uses what's available, right? I mean, her whole notion of going off of Octo to find Kylo, I'm still of the opinion it's more because she thinks Kylo can serve a greater purpose than it's a strong emotional connection. Well, I don't know. I guess there could have been, and then it gets shut down because he's still an ass. I think, to me, it could be like, why is she wearing dark? I love your notion, Katie, because that's what our heroes are always wearing in the final act.
Yeah.
And why is it a double-bladed red lightsaber? Who knows? Maybe it's an artifact she finds and she just knows how to wield it. Excuse me. She's yielding to oncoming traffic. I'm again, without having seen it, and even after seeing it, I'm not that this will get any more credibility, but I tend towards the camp of what you were thinking, Jason, is like it could just be a vision. But I also like, Katie, I also love your thematic reasons for why it's important for her working through her darkness. And I also just feel like it could just simply be, again, another kind of what we got with Last Jedi, in the sense of she'll pick up and use whatever she needs, because that's what Rey does, right?
Yeah.
So why is it a red double-bladed lightsaber? Who knows? Maybe they've stumbled across a bunch of Sith artifacts and her lightsaber is lost somewhere. So, oh, cool! I know how to fight with one of these. I'm going to kick some ass, you know?
Right?
So who knows, right? But like, it's just like you were saying, like it's something we've been speculating since Force Awakens came out, that Rey has been built up to be this character, right? And even her staff, the hilt of the, not the hilt, but the top of the staff looks like Darth Maul's lightsaber hilt.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, you bet I
Like,
noticed.
yeah.
You bet I did.
Yeah.
Like, why does her staff look like Darth Maul's lightsaber? Literally.
Yeah.
Right? It was something that we were all talking about, looking at the costumes there at Celebration that year. We're like,
that's Darth Maul's
Yeah.
staff too.
Yeah.
So, it's, man, I'm just excited. Like you said, Kate, I'm just glad that it took us 8 movies to get back to it. But
yes.
Granted, yes, Pong Krell did have 2 of them in Clone Wars, but
he was a jerk.
But he was the worst. I'm so excited to see that clip tomorrow. Can't wait.
Darth Maul is gonna show up in Episode 9. I've been saying he's gonna offer zero explanation, like none. He just walks in, don't ask questions. I'm your dad. Here's my lightsaber, and then he just leaves. And Rey's like my father before me, and it's gonna be so good. I'm calling it now.
Oh my gosh. Wouldn't that just be one of the weirdest things from Palpatine's, past to come back and haunt him? It's like, you again? I thought I killed you twice.
Oh my gosh. Darth Maul is he's just like, okay, so yeah, Rey is facing down Palpatine. Maul just walks into the room, hands her his lightsaber, and Palpatine's like, what are you doing here? And Maul's just he's just looking at Rey, and he's like, you hear something? I don't hear nothing. I just hear someone who's about to get beat. And then he just walks away. Does not give Palpatine the time of day. That's what I'm saying. Okay.
And that's all. And that's all Maul does. He walks in, hands her a lightsaber, and leaves. That's it.
That's it. Because that's the thing.
No explanation.
Darth Maul finally learned that living well is the best revenge.
Oh my
saying.
Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. I love it so much. Oh, thank you for that sidebar, Katie.
Anytime. Anytime.
Oh my goodness. Well, until
anything else we want to...
until tomorrow when we get that sizzle reel, and obviously we may just have to revisit some of that when we record again next week. Just touch it at least to see what's there. Those are the only things I've heard mentioned, so I'm just curious what else is there. I wonder if it's just a lot of footage we've already seen. But I don't care. I'm excited to see more of it. So
Yep.
Yeah.
No, there's some good stuff coming down the road for Star Wars, and I'm excited. Rise of Skywalker, Mandalorian, Resistance, Kenobi, Clone Wars. Let's draw a card, pick a card. What's next? It's like, I don't know. I'm
Stop! He's already dead. He's already dead. Stop.
There's so much, and I'm loving it right now. I love these weekends because it's like, all right, here's everything you've been talking and speculating about. Here's what we can confirm. Here's some new stuff for you to speculate about, and we'll see you next year. Thanks. Bye. So
Yeah.
we go.
It's just a very exciting time.
It is. It really is. So, do we have anything else we need to talk about?
No.
I was just going to say, So for any of you who didn't know that Ewan McGregor could sing like an angel, you're welcome.
Yeah.
So,
gosh, I have to go watch that movie, Carl.
I just, oh my gosh.
Come over to my house. We'll watch it together.
I love it so much. It's such a good movie.
Inside an elephant.
Oh dear
Oh
Lord.
my goodness.
All right.
All right. Sorry, done playing around.
I think we're gonna wind down this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Just a quick reminder: our matchup for next episode is going to be Darth Sidious versus Mother Talzin in the Force duel. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Carl, if people want to weigh in on the matchup or anything else that came out of D23 that we talked about this week, where can people do that?
Of course, over on Twitter, you can follow us at Wampa's Lair. We're on Facebook at Wampa's Lair Podcast, and you can always email us at wampaslairpodcast@gmail.com. Katie, I feel like you're going to have some things to say tomorrow morning. Where can people hear all those thoughts?
You guys can follow me at She Beast of Vindication. No, for real though. I'm
Please,
at Poha Tamarin, and yeah, I'm gonna have some things to say.
Oh my God! Please,
Yes.
you got to change your Twitter handle.
For real though, it's my display name now. It is.
I love it.
It's a display
I
name,
love
so-
it. I didn't notice.
All
Love
right. Well, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Wampa's Lair podcast. This has been episode number 346, D23 Extravaganza. For Carl and the She Beast of Vindication, I'm Jason, and we will see you next time here in the Wampa's Lair.